hello, and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Rev Cassandra Rae, Spiritual Director of the Center for Spiritual Living, White Rock, and we're an inclusive learning center of practical spirituality based in the South Surrey, White Rock area of British Columbia, Canada. We create sacred opportunities for personal empowerment and collective transformation through wholehearted experiences of truth and spirit. So wherever you are on your path, whether you're struggling or soaring, I often say maybe a little bit of both, there is a place for you here. I am privileged to live and work on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Coast Salish. We honor the First Peoples of the area in which I am zooming in from today, which is the territory of the Stillaguamish, Snohomish, and Tulalip. The indigenous people have inhabited these lands and waters since time immemorial, and their ancestors have remained in this territory to this day, continuing to practice the traditional ways of fishing, hunting, and gathering. These lands and cultural traditions have been passed on to them by ancestors who believe that everything has a spirit and that they are caretakers of the lands and waters. So now I invite you to let everything else go. Silence your devices if you can, and just be here now with us. So let's anchor our time together in prayer. I invite you to turn within. Taking that sacred breath of life and letting it go, I feel the circulation of spirit through the body right here and now as the breath moves in and out. I allow this to bring to conscious awareness the truth that there is one life living in, through, and as all life everywhere. Just like this breath, just like each one of us breathes. Spirit is alive, well, loving, gracious, wise, and infinite. And so I recognize that this universal truth is my truth, that I am one with the divine. It is who and what I am. And it is from this place of recognition of the unity of spirit that I claim, affirm, and know that this time is a blessing, that it blesses each one of us. That something that is said or sung or experienced, that it opens the mind and the heart to a greater sense of belonging, of community, of purpose. And so I simply give thanks. I give thanks for the opportunity, for the space, for the technology, for the volunteers, for the musician, for each and every one who has been called to be a part of co-creating this time together. Every leader, every person, and everyone who joins in this time, both live here together on Zoom, and also each and everyone who listens or watches afterward, knowing, transcending time and space, we are one, we are connected. This time is a blessing. I let it be, and so it is. We gather live on Zoom every Sunday, and each week we invite a musician to join us. And they do, and they sing and they play their music. And today I am just so excited to welcome Linda Kidder. She's a talented singer, songwriter, and performer. She's worked with some of the best. And one thing I really love about Linda is the way she sings from her heart. She has such a warmth to her that is wonderful to bask in. So I invite you to snuggle up and join me as I welcome Linda Kidder.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, today is a good day to snuggle up. If you don't have to go out, all the better. Sometimes I feel like giving up when things just get to be too much. I want to walk away, start again another day. A change of scene, a change of luck. Sometimes the fear can overtake me, and I can't make a single move. All doors are closed and I am aching with no idea what to do. And it's times like these I have to dig deep. I get my trusty shovel out of the shed and I start digging. And I am grateful for every moment, for every breath. I do my best to keep the light in, but the darkness comes to swallow me up sometimes. Sometimes it's all I can do to keep on breathing. Sometimes the tears, they will not stop. And it's times like these I have to dig deep. I get my trusty shovel out of the shed and I start digging. And I am grateful for every moment, for every breath. I will never give up. I will never give in. I could never look at my face again. If I did, I would find a way to make it through this haze. Of strength it takes. Sometimes I feel like giving up when things just get to be too much. But I won't walk away. I'll be here every day. As long as I am trying, that's enough. As I am trying, that's enough.
Oh, thank you so much, Linda Kidder.
You're so welcome.
Yay. You just, you warm my heart and soul. Thank you. So today we're going to start in the deep end. So I know that some people really like to get in the water, the pool, the lake, the river, whatever, like really slowly, like a little, one toe at a time. Or gosh, maybe you don't even like to swim, which I can hardly fathom. But today we're just kind of jumping in. It's just imagine that it's really hot outside and and you're taking the hand of the people next to you and you're jumping off the edge and you're just letting your whole body, with the shock and the relief of the water. Imagine that's what we're doing together as we start. We're actually going to kind of, I think, go in reverse. We're going to jump in the deep end, and then we're going to swim around and have a really good time. And then we're going to walk slowly to the shore together. And so as you are, holding on to the person next to you, I want to just say a few things to really, jump in. So I want to just let you know that wanting to quit is normal. In fact, there are even times when quitting is the absolute best thing you can do, right? Quitting things like cigarettes is one of the strongest things you can do, right? Quitting does not mean you're a failure. It does not mean you're weak, okay? Now, a really interesting thing about being human is that there are other times when the most important thing you can do is to not quit. And it is to keep going. But what I have really come to in preparing for today's talk is that either way, whether you quit or you keep going, you've got to dig deep into your soul for the strength, the clarity, and the courage to move forward. Because that is what's happening. Whether you quit or whether you keep going, you are moving forward. So Spirit knows the highest and best way forward. And Spirit lives in, through, and as all life. This means that Spirit lives in us, through us, as us. So this means Spirit is living as you. This also means that the clarity you seek is inside of you. So how do we access this wisdom and guidance? Which is an excellent question, and that's what we're talking about today. That's the question that we're exploring. How do we access the clarity that lives inside of us? So the first thing I want you to consider is your relationship with quitting. Why? Because your perspective about quitting will impact how you move forward. So what did you learn about quitting while growing up? What has been your life experience with quitting? Western culture often says that quitting is failure. But what if quitting is just another option available to you? What if it is one of many options? So notice if your perspective around quitting has become a part of your identity. Now, what does that mean? It might sound something like this. I'm a quitter, or I never quit, or you will never catch me quitting, right? So those are just little indicators that your perspective around quitting has become part of your identity. And it takes courage to explore your perspective around quitting and to dig deep into the beliefs that are living in your subconscious. And I would just want to clarify that this is an important step, because if you don't take the time to shine a light on the underlying perspectives, you might sabotage yourself. You might run out of steam, thereby reinforcing some of the limiting beliefs that have been stopping you. So you can also look at that in the flip way. If you've been sabotaging yourself, it's because there's an underlying belief that is wanting to be unearthed, weeded out, exposed. So, no matter what you discover inside of you, in your mind, in your heart, or even in your experience or perspective, I also really want to remind you that spirit doesn't quit on you. Spirit loves you unconditionally. And your soul is spirit in you. I like to think of, my soul as my own unique access to spirit, to that universal divine presence. And your soul will use all aspects of your life to support and guide you, even the barriers you face. What? Yes, that's right. Even the barriers you face can be used by your soul. So, oftentimes the barriers we face are a huge factor in whether or not we quit or keep going. And we tend to think of barriers as bad. And I'm not saying they're good. But something came up in the class I'm currently teaching called Journey of the Soul. And I want to just read you a quote from the curriculum. It says, "The qualities that are cultivated by moving through the barriers are often the very same qualities we most need to create the magical life we envision." On the one hand, that's crazy. But on the other, true. I remember when I first started here at CSL White Rock, a few months after I became your spiritual director, we had an installation ceremony. And it was a beautiful experience, honoring the past and preparing for the future. Even after just a few months here, I knew that everything in my life had prepared me to serve you. Every class I had taken, every challenge I faced, every job I'd ever had, even probably every prayer I'd ever made, everything made sense. It was like from this new vantage point, I could see how everything had helped me. Of course, I didn't always see how it had helped me along the way, but my whole life made sense in relationship to stepping into this role. In fact, I'm pretty sure I said that to you that day. Like, it makes sense now. So what if we don't judge the barriers? What if they just are? Now, don't get me wrong. I probably would opt for like a smooth, wide open path over one, littered with obstacles along the way. And I'm certainly not saying that barriers are necessary, but I'm saying that when they are there, all it means is that there's a quality to cultivate. In other words, the barrier can be your teacher. And when you're willing to dig deep by facing the barrier and allowing it to teach you, then the barrier can serve as a way into the life you want, into the magical life you envision. Okay, this might sound weird for a Sunday talk, but Katy Perry faced some pretty big barriers on her path to becoming an American pop singer. Did you know that she is only the second artist to have 5 #1 hits from a single album? And she holds the record for most total weeks with a #1 hit of 46 weeks. That's almost a whole year. Yeah, she's a pop icon. But did you also know that she had not 1, not 2, but 3 record deals fail? They completely fell apart before getting signed. She grew up in a conservative and religious household. She wasn't even allowed to listen to pop music growing up. I mean, her first album was actually a gospel album. And just after releasing it, the label that made it went bankrupt. And so as a teenager, she went and got her GED and moved to LA to pursue her career as a singer. And she spent 5 years trying to make it. And while she says writing bad checks and selling clothes to make rent. And, you know, after 3 record deals fell apart, she finally got signed and became, you know, the pop star we know today. But she didn't let the barriers stop her, and each setback was cultivating a quality necessary for her to fulfill her purpose. And speaking of purpose, that brings us right into the third way to discern when it is time to quit or keep going. And it has everything to do with purpose. So before I jump into the third, I just want to recap the first 2 because you might have missed them. So that first one was to explore your relationship with quitting, rooting out any underlying beliefs in your consciousness. The second one is to, recognize that barriers can be your teacher and that they can actually serve you in cultivating qualities you need to fulfill your purpose. And so the third way is your purpose. So you see, your purpose is actually going to call you to quit and to keep going. It's going to call you to do both. And I know that sounds confusing, but the answers truly are inside of you. Okay, so there are seeds of purpose planted within you. I probably say this almost every week, or at least every month, because just like a seed has a blueprint of its actualization within itself, you too have a blueprint of actualization within you. And it comes in the form of your talents, like what comes naturally for you. It comes in the form of fulfillment, what brings you a sense of meaning. It comes in the form of dreams, like what vision do you want to bring to life? And it comes in the form of energy. What excites and delights you? And the seeds of purpose planted within you aren't just for you. Your presence, talents, skills, and contributions, they help others know the seeds of purpose within themselves. There is an entire garden of purpose that you are a part of. And your individual purpose is part of your family's purpose, even when you don't feel like you fit in your family. Your purpose is part of your community's purpose. It's even part of humanity's purpose. So when it comes to understanding whether or not you should let go or keep going, you must consider your purpose. Allow your purpose to guide you. And, it can feel like your purpose is hidden and you have to find it. If I just asked you right now, hey, what's your purpose? Probably the most common answer would be, I don't know. But the answers are inside of you. Those seeds of purpose are inside of you. So one way to think about purpose is through meaning. What's meaningful to you? What brings meaning to your day, your work, your life? Every day, do something meaningful. And it doesn't have to be ginormous or Instagram ready. Maybe it brings meaning for you to call a friend, to connect with nature, to volunteer at the food bank, to paint, to pick up litter in your neighborhood, to take a class, to read a book or listen to a podcast. If you are doing something meaningful every day, then you are absolutely moving in the direction of your purpose. So today, I ask you, what must you release in order to move forward on your path of purpose? And what must you embrace? Take some time this week to see if there are perspectives inside of you that are stopping you from living on purpose. Are there limiting thoughts to weed out of your consciousness? Remember that any and all barriers are here to teach you something, and living in alignment with your purpose will expand your life in meaningful ways for you and others. Digging deep is about releasing all of the things that keep you disconnected from your soul, from spirit, and from your purpose. It's about embracing the love, clarity, wisdom, guidance, and power that is here for you now. Allow your talents, your vision, your creativity, and your excitement to move you along your path. Know that spirit within you is guiding you individually and collectively as a community. I want to close today by reading from my favorite section of the Science of Mind text by Ernest Holmes. I'm sure you know what my favorite section in the book is. Of course, it is the glossary. In researching this talk, I looked up purpose, the word purpose, and it's defined as determination with incentive. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. Determination with incentive. But then I saw the next entry of purposefulness. What is that? What is purposefulness? And here's what it says. When we speak of the purposefulness of spirit, we mean that conscious mind has the ability to know what it wishes to express and the power to express it. So as you walk your path this week, remember that your soul knows. Spirit within you knows. And your conscious mind has the ability to know what your soul wishes to express as you, as this community, and the power to express it. And so it is. So I invite you to turn within now as we ground this time together, this truth, as we embody it, as we bring it into the consciousness and know that we are planting these ideas in the soil of our consciousness, knowing that they take root and that they grow, and that in the process that there are things that are illuminated that are ready to be released and let go. I know that spirit is the power and the presence that illuminates all that is alive and well within each one of us, making itself known. And so I celebrate the clarity. I celebrate the purpose of each one of us and the purpose of this community. I celebrate the ways in which the old, the limiting, the false are being released now, and that there is space for this expanded expression and experience of each one of us and of the Center for Spiritual Living White Rock. Oh, how good it is to come together, to remember, and to grow in community. I know that these words, that they inspire and nourish in such subtle, surprising, and blatant ways that I just celebrate the ways in which spirit makes itself known in the soul of each one of us right here and now. Just feeling the blessing of that, the blessing of community, the blessing of this time. Knowing that there is a new reality that has been created in the mind of God, I step forward into it, fulfilling it in perfect divine right timing. I let it be, and so it is.
Beautiful. Beautiful. It's interesting. This is our time now that we take to create sacred opportunities for empowerment and collective transformation through wholehearted experience of truth and spirit. And if you're inspired by today's music and message, as well as our weekly and monthly programs, we greatly receive your gift, your tithe, and your offering. And know that we are here at CSL White Rock building a generosity, a flow of exchange, of give and take. And that is so important in building this community. As our community members support us, we're also supporting out in the community. And as we have a committee that does that. So again, that flow of generosity coming back and forth. So you can donate to our website at www.cslwhiterock. I think Tu's got that on there. whiterock.com/donate. You can mail us a check, send us an e-transfer, and just know that gifts of all sizes are helpful. Your contribution makes all of this possible. And what's next? So thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting this teaching, for supporting CSL White Rock, supporting this community. So I'd ask you now to join with me in declaring our prosperity affirmation as my voice goes. Excuse me. Divine love within blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is.